this conversation to focus more on the Cowboys and how they look. Now, Britt, I know every year, people are going to say, "Oh, Cowboy, do it in the playoffs. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. Do it in the playoffs. Same old Cowboys. You're going to get beat in the playoffs." That's the story for Cowboy haters. My question to you is, does this Cowboys team feel different this year, Britt? Does it feel like this team might be able to take that next step?
Why you gotta call them Cowboys haters, though, Jay? A hater? Is it the hater or is it facts? That's.
It's probably a little bit of both.
No, I think it's more facts than hating. Um, mm, this is a hard question. I want to say yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, I mean they're beating teams that they're supposed to be beating. Regardless of the situation. You go in, you play the Giants, the Panthers, the Giants again, a few other teams I can't think of the schedule was previously. The Seattle Seahawks. I think technically that was their first win over the entire season against a team that was above 500, although that made Seattle 500. And then their next one was against the Eagles. And I had to give them props for that, regardless of the dumb, stupid mistakes the Eagles made. The Cowboys came ready to play, and they played well. So I guess in that sense, yes, it does feel a little different. Dak has been playing well, been dropping dimes, so I give him that credit. But then a no, because you call it hate, we have to see it in the playoffs. Like we've seen this before, and I think
It's
that's
true.
the thing. We've seen this before. We've seen in the regular season the Cowboys would dominate. This is not the first time they could potentially win the NFC East. I know they had the tiebreaker somehow right now, and I think it's because of the rest of the games that are left. Um, but if the Eagles somehow manage to win out, now you're back in second. So I have to see it in the playoffs. Like I have to see it in the playoffs, and I have to see it consistently in the playoffs. Don't play against the Packers and beat the Packers and think I'm gonna give you credit. No, I need you to do it against the playoffs, against a quality opponent. You showed us in the regular season. Um, Again, regardless of what that team was going through, it doesn't matter. A win is a win, and they killed that team. And it happens to be my team. And yes, I hate the Cowboys, but I give credit where credit is due. So it's hard for me to say this. Um, but I gotta see it. I had to see it when it matters the most. Regular season is to position yourself for playoffs. That's what the regular season is for. I gotta see it in the playoffs, and I just haven't seen it in the playoffs. And those boneheaded decisions come about when it matters the most, and that's the playoffs to get to a Super Bowl. If I see it two straight games in the playoffs, because they're not getting the number one seed, they're not going to get the number one seed in the NFC. That's either going to be um, 49ers or I hope the Eagles, one of the two. Right now it's the 49ers. I just got to see it consistently. They had the talent. They had the talent. I have to see it. And that's what I don't know what else to say. That's just
Yeah.
all I can say.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I don't disagree with anything that you said. I think for me, maybe watching these Cowboys really closely, it may feel a little different because I think they have a couple some things going for them, right? Like number one, they can get after the passer,
Right.
which I mean that's a good formula to win some football games. If you can put pressure on the other team's
Hmm.
quarterback, that's a plus, right? And now I feel like their offensive line is getting healthy. They're starting to run the
Hmm.
football a little bit better, which is great. And then also CD Lamb to me has emerged as one of the better receivers in the NFL now.
Hmm.
So I feel like they can do it at a couple of different levels offensively. But you're right, Britt. Like the thing that's going to decide this thing is like all those little things that have always hurt the Cowboys. Stupid penalties, coaching blunders, mismanaging the clock, like all
Hmm.
those kinds of things have hurt the Cowboys in the past. The question is like, can they fix those things this
Right.
time? I feel like Mike McCarthy has been a little bit better this year. I
Hmm.
think maybe calling plays again has kind of helped him stay in the game a little bit more,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. So maybe like we'll see in a pressurized situation late in the fourth quarter in the playoffs, like are these Cowboy mistakes going to come up again or are they going to be able to take care of them? But I feel like talent wise, you're right. They've got a really good team. But you got to look, you're going to have to beat some really good teams to get to the Super Bowl. The Eagles and the 49ers are standing in their way. And I think that would be difficult for almost any team in the
Mhm.
NFL. So